it is the University of Tennessee's job and their PR department, the sports information department, to pump up their current players and former players. And that's what they did with Jalin Hyatt. But if you weed your way through the noise, a 4.4 flat for Jalin Hyatt was not special. And the NFL Network seemed to get on board with pumping up Jalin Hyatt for some reason. And they ran the shadow of Julio Jones running next to him, and Jalin Hyatt pulled away from him in the 40 and ran a slightly faster 40. Julio Jones was 30 pounds heavier, Caleb. I mean, those are not even the same dudes. I mean, Julio Jones could have played tight end if he started drinking a bunch of protein drinks. I just thought that, and
he's 2 inches taller.
Yeah, and he's 2 inches taller. I mean, he's a massive dude. I've seen the guy in person. I mean, I covered him in recruiting. He is a big dude. I got a funny recruiting story about him we'll get to at some point. But Jalin Hyatt's not a first-round pick. He's not. Cedric Tillman very well might be. He's a better all-around player. And in the series that we've got ongoing right now with people I'm talking to from UT, Jalin Hyatt is reminiscent of a Peerless Price, which is a heck of a compliment with his speed and ability to stretch the field with the deep ball. That's a heck of a compliment. I think he's an Alvin Harper type if his speed is indeed in the 4.3 range, and I think it will be because he had a sore hamstring at the combine. But right now, to think that Jalin Hyatt had a great combine showing after pulling out early with the hamstring and running a 4.4 flat, that's not – Mr. Jones says 4.4 is pretty fast. Yes, it's pretty fast, but linebackers run 4.4s, Caleb. I thought he would be a solid mid 4.3 guy. I really did. And we're not splitting straws. That's a big difference.
Yeah, we're not – and again, it's not about fast. Guys, you guys have to understand something about Jalin Hyatt. He's not uniquely big, so it's not like he's going to have an advantage with his size. I mean height or weight. He's neither of those things. He's not really a proven route runner because the routes and the concepts were so simple in Josh Heupel's offense. He hasn't really proven his hands. I mean, most of the catches he made were easy catches. The thing that was going to sell for him was speed and speed alone.
I agree.
And
by the way, the message board disagrees with us.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, I'm going to do this. It's disrespectful to Peerless Price to compare Jalin Hyatt to him.
Well, one of his former teammates did that. So
I know. I still say it is because Peerless Price. I've said this before. If Peerless Price were 6'3", he'd have been arguably the greatest wideout of all time. He was 5'11" and played like he was 6'3". His concentration is some of the most impressive concentration I've ever seen from a receiver. I still think he's the great. I still have him. If I wanted a receiver tomorrow in Tennessee football history that I needed to throw to make a play, I'd take Peerless Price in a heartbeat over anybody.
I don't know that there is a good comparison really for Jalin Hyatt, which is why we came up with Alvin Harper and Peerless Price. I think Peerless was actually the closest that I could think of just in terms of physical stature, not in terms of what he's going to do or what he even did in college. But the other thing about Jalin Hyatt, guys, is his 10-yard wasn't that fast. And listen, you can pull away from defenses all day long, but if he's going to play slot receiver, you want those Edelman types that are super quick, that are really quick off the line and that can really pivot and move and find holes in the defense. I don't know that he's that guy yet.
You're right. It's more about when the slot getting the quick separation, which we have no proof that Jalin Hyatt can do with his routes. By the way, though, I've been disagreeing with the NFL mini reports on the NFL. I don't know if you saw on the other side, sticking with losers from the combine, Jeremy Banks was named to the NFL All-Combine team, which I didn't get. Jeremy Banks' measurables came up smaller than your average linebacker in the NFL. He was only going to win the combine if his measurables were above average because his intangibles are a huge red flag.
I wouldn't draft him if he ran a 4.2 and was 235 pounds.
Yeah, exactly. And so and he didn't measure at 235. He's smaller and slower, and he is smaller than the average linebacker at the combine. That's the last thing Jeremy Banks needed. I don't know how he made the all-combine team, because I'm with you. Low intangibles and not proper size.
I'll tell you what, if you're a fan of a particular NFL team, you want them to draft Darnell Wright. He is going to be phenomenal. He's versatile. People I talked to drew comparisons to Chad Clifton, who is a massively strong guy who could play both tackle positions. So you're going to draft Darnell Wright at right tackle, most likely. He is the biggest winner by far. I don't even think it's close, and I'm not surprised. But he is going to play at that right tackle position. And then if something happens to your left tackle, you can shift him over. So you don't usually take guys on the right side with a right-handed quarterback that high, but they're going to do that with Darnell Wright. He's going to go around pick 20 to 25, and I wouldn't be upset with any team or be surprised if they decided to reach a little bit more and take him with the 15th to 20th pick. Mr. Jones says 5 TDs against Alabama. I agree, but that wasn't a great Alabama defense for Jalin Hyatt. But let's move on. So I'm surprised by the reaction from Hyatt locally. I'm not surprised with what Wright did. Winners and losers, which you can read about on Off the Hook Sports. Winners and losers from the combine. Who else?
So Jeremy Banks and Jalin Hyatt are my 2 losers. I think bar none, they're the 2 losers. I don't question Jalin Hyatt's character. I don't put him in the same category as Jeremy Banks guys, but there are just other reasons Jalin Hyatt did not do what he needed to do. You're right. Biggest winners.
Yeah, I agree. And we had a post. Deebo Samuel ran a 4.48 I'm telling you, I'm going to be done with Jalin Hyatt. Jalin Hyatt is a straight ahead runner. He does not have the shiftiness of a Deebo Samuel. It's not many people walking the face of the earth do. That's a special type of. Yeah, it's pretty much Christian McCaffrey and Deebo Samuel have that sort of shiftiness and speed. And Jalin Hyatt doesn't have that. Nobody in this draft has that. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I'm with you. Darnell Wright's the biggest winner. And the funny thing is Darnell Wright had the highest expectations coming into the combine.
Mm-hmm.
So it was hard for him to live up to those, and he lived up to all of them. I mean, this guy is a rising. There's a reason he's the only 5-star on the team the past few years. Second biggest winner to me, I think, is Byron Young. I think Byron Young did himself a lot of favors. Any questions there with 40 time?
No. And a very, very, very raw. Okay. And the one person I talked to about him did not even want to go here because it raises expectations so much. But very, very, very raw, poor man's everything I can to try to keep this in perspective. Leonard Little, which you can read about on offthehooksports.com here in the next day or so.
Yeah, that's
again, just raw physical ability coming out of college, poor man's. I want to emphasize all of that criteria. Okay, I'm not saying he's going to be anywhere close to Leonard Little. Does that make sense?
Right. No, I got you. Okay. A couple solid winners. I think Cedric Tillman. I don't think he blew anybody away, but solid measurables at 6'3", 213. 4.54 40. Given that he's a wideout, that's actually not a bad 40 time. And I think the thing that stands out the most is he had a 37-inch vertical and 10-foot 8-inch broad jump, and that's exactly where you kind of want him to be. So that's enough to get him at a top 3-4 round guy, 3rd or 4th round guy, I think.
I will tell you something about Tillman. Seeing him at SEC media days, if you would have told me that's a defensive end, I would have bought it. I mean, he is huge. His frame, I was like, who is that? Because I saw him from behind and I didn't see his face. Mm-hmm. And he looked different than every other skill position player there, maybe other than Anthony Richardson. Mr. Jones says Darnell Wright had an in-depth interview with the Titans. You know, you've got a Mike Vrabel there that certainly likes physical football. Where did the Titans pick again? It seems like they always pick around.
Teams always forget the year. We're in the we're in the teens. I know I'm saying we're because I'm a huge Titans fan. I'm not objective. I'll admit it. But I will say that Darnell Wright wouldn't be bad. You know, we just let Taylor Lewan walk. And so
maybe there's something there.
Exactly. So a couple of winners, and this is weird. There are 2 winners from the combine for Tennessee that you can't really measure. One is Paxton Brooks because it's totally different for punters at the combine. So I think Paxton Brooks was a winner just by being invited to the combine. If you're a punter invited to the combine, you're a winner. in that regard.
True. Joe says, why are you guys not talking about Hyatt's broad and vertical? The vertical is what I thought it would be. I haven't seen a situation in which an NFL player has been asked to broad jump.
And the broad jump is stupid.
In the game.
And the vertical matters more for wideouts than slot receivers, guys. Hyatt's not going to be tossed a bunch of 50-50 balls. And then the last one is, look, he wasn't able to do any physical stuff, but I still think Hendon Hooker was a winner from the combine.
Immensely helped himself, was willing to talk about himself, was willing to show off his confidence without coming across as cocky like Will Levis did. I think he helped himself by showing up to the Senior Bowl when other guys didn't think it was important. I think he has completely turned himself from a third or fourth round pick to a second round pick. And rooting for him. Fantastic young man. I love the fact that he has attacked the NFL. It wasn't that long ago at SEC Media Days. He said that he wanted to be a coach and lead young men, and that was his goal. He didn't even mention the NFL. Well, I knew he wanted to play in the NFL, but he now believes he can. And what he did, I absolutely love Hendon Hooker and what he has done to prepare himself. I do hope this, though. I hope that he does not go to a team where he has to play. Even though he said he'll be physically able, I hope he doesn't have to play in his first year or at least first half of the season. That's what I'm hoping for. We've got a Panthers fan who said that he hopes they can get Hooker. I'm a big fan of his. You should be. The intangibles will be through the roof.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, he's one of the greatest leaders Tennessee's ever had at quarterback. I think funny. I've always loved Josh Dobbs. I have a lot of respect. I think Hendon Hooker has some. I already talked about Hooker having a bigger arm than Dobbs. I think his intangibles are slightly better than Dobbs too. That's no knock on Dobbs' intangibles.
No, that's like comparing the Mona Lisa to another Van Gogh.
Yeah, Dobbs was more Dobbs was very good at being a leader in the sense that he was always willing to do what he was told and things like that. I think Hooker's more than just willing to do what he's told. I think Hooker goes that extra mile to really galvanize everybody around him. I mean, I'm talking not as hard on players, but Peyton Manning level.
Yep. I totally agree. Go to our friends at crafttreats.com. Use the promo code off the hook, and get 20% off. Craft Treats that can, if you'd like, include the CBD. Those are the chill pills in which they will help with your dog's digestive issues or perhaps arthritis or maybe even, how about social anxiety? You can tell that Caleb Calhoun and his dog are a big fan of the chill pills because we haven't heard his dog bark once today, which is pleasant. So go to crafttreats.com, use the promo code off the hook. Again, the promo code off the hook. The Saints whiffed on Carr. Raleigh says Hooker could have been a franchise quarterback for them. He may still be. I hope he doesn't go to a place where he has to play right away.